Welcome to another episode of Soup City Sins. We are at the season 2 finale. In war, truth is the first casualty. That finale, of course, is the culmination of Cameron, Clyde, Hestia, Julius, Lucio, Raul, and Simone, our shelter coterie, peering into the darkness. While many members have fallen by the wayside or otherwise disappeared, we will be picking up on our season 2 finale with Clyde, Hestia, Lucio, and Simone as they come to grips with various shadows that have fallen across their paths over the course of 2 seasons of peering into the darkness of Chicago. So once again, it's just 2 minutes after 8, and we are starting our soft open with the coterie as they arrive. Welcome aboard, Lucio. How we doing?
Doing good.
Excellent. Any questions? Any hypotheses I can help you work out as far as the last few episodes?
Trying to think. I think maybe the only thing I want to ask is, like, at some point, I'd like to have Lucio do two things. One is to check those dead drops that his boss told him about, or rather relayed through spots. And the other is to investigate the Lucio's real family ties and see what he can dig up about that, because I feel like that's a very important plot point for him to explore.
Okay, definitely all on board in regards to that. Is there any actual doubt in his mind? Did that present a list of fears or potentiality for some things not being quite as they should have been, or as he remembered them?
I think that is very much something that he's thinking now, like just going back through. Like, in that moment, his first reaction was, no, this couldn't possibly be true. And then, like, thinking back, he's just remembering all the times that are like, well, maybe that would explain this odd occurrence. And, like, these odd reactions and stuff.
Okay, excellent. That's always good to hear. I'm really glad that it struck a chord. Also, I do my best to make sure that the relationship map reflects some of the information that's been shared. So if there's any doubt or if there's anything that may be easily found, it definitely would be there in the relationship map. So you would be able to perhaps maybe look at pictures or things along that nature. I haven't quite worked everything out, but I'm more slowly working on their relationship map to get everything visible and easy. Well, not easy, but
Where did you post that again? Which channel was that?
that's in the coterie news and synopsis. So right at the top, it should still be pinned if I'm not mistaken. And
yeah, I just have to find it.
Right.
Approximate map of the Chronicle. Is that what it is? The approximate map of the Chronicle with a few highlights?
Yes. Yes, that should. Yep, that would be it. You're quicker on the ball than I was. I was looking for it myself. And a little out of character. Any facts as presented, any information as presented thus far? Is there anything that outside of the directly personal, any theme or story mood that we haven't hit that you were hoping we had?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. Oh no, story map approximate map of the Chronicle with a few highlights. That is the physical map of the city. There it is. It's right underneath there. It says V5, Chicago Masquerade Mask. It's in the same area, but yeah. Make sure that's pinned. And it is. It is in the pinned messages. Okay.
V5 Chicago Masquerade of Masks. This is ours?
Yes.
Okay. Ah, I see myself there.
I still need to work on the some of the visual cues. Like I need to shrink the other icons, make them smaller so that you all stand out a little bit, so that you drawing lines from connections from one to the other should be a little easier.
Okay.
There never seems to be quite enough hours in the day, however. But yeah. Yep. Maria, Daria. Hey, Daria. All right, so they're all there. Let's see here. Oh, and did you get a chance to listen to any of the snippets from last episode?
I did not get a chance.
I would be lying if I say I listened to the whole thing. I listened to the whole thing, but I didn't listen to the whole thing all at one time. So I'm not sure how it quite turned out.
Right.
And mostly everything is on there, and taking a quick perusal of the relationship map. Most of the connections are there. Most of the big ones, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few things we can follow up on, but for the most part, it's all there.
Out of curiosity, did we ever establish what the clans for, or what Cameron's clan was?
No, you guys never actually spoke about who was where. I thought that was a little interesting, but you know.
Because I feel like I remember him mentioning something about either Ventru, but then his little manipulation of me was kind of like making me think, oh, is he one of the Setites, or that was just like a curiosity thing.
Yeah, you guys never actually spoke on it. You probably should get around to doing that. Well, eventually, with the remaining active coterie members, because you guys never spoke on it.
That's true.
Though, for the most part, I try to keep the real clan affiliations a matter of what your characters present, so you can literally say whatever you want until things hit the fan and maybe someone else sticks their nose out of the woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
But we still have a few minutes before everybody else joins. I do see that Clyde has opened up Discord. I still haven't heard anything back from Julius. I reached out to him earlier, and both Simone and Hestia were up and about. So hopefully they'll be joining shortly. How's it going, Clyde?
Hey guys.
How we doing?
Well, we are doing well.
Well is good. Well is good. It'll get us through the day. I'm going to step. If you have any questions, get them ready for me. I'm going to step away for a few moments, and I'll be right back. Okay.
All right.
All right. So, any questions, any themes, any suggestions, Clyde?
No, not really. Just we are still on the same night, and I'm. But if a butterfly hits me, I'm gonna be in torpor. So, well, not torpor, but start taking aggravated.
Yeah, you are definitely you're at 4 levels of damage received. Extraordinarily hungry. The beast is less than an onion skin from the surface, and to make matters worse, you came home and went straight to sleep, so there wasn't even a chance for you to perhaps replenish a bit of your stores of energy before the next night. So
Yeah, a couple of things. The last game, I spent a lot of willpower, but I was acting on behalf of my family, my what's it called?
your touchstones, yes.
Yeah, my touchstones, and also trying to make my conviction. So, how much can I replenish?
Well, in light of working directly for your touchstones and acting in your conventions, that would replenish 2 instead of the 1.
All right.
Bonus.
Do I get? Um, do I replenish 1 for the new night?
Yeah, that was the 2. You'd replenish upon awakening with your hunger already in high gear, as it were, emotionally taxing and draining night. And once you roll for your rouse, hopefully you're lucky. That way you won't be at 4 hunger, because that would put you in the similar situation as Lucio, Simone, and Hestia were last episode upon awakening.
Yeah. So two willpowers instead of the normal one. All right, I got you. So for this character, it's kind of low, but I can live with it.
A little low, but he's proven to be a man of extreme focus when things of import are on the line.
Yeah, I've played with characters with 3 willpower total, so fun times. Also in B20, I used to have a Nosferatu that had 1 composure. No, what's it called?
Resolve and composure.
Composure. Yeah, I think it's composure. So everything. It was a Nosferatu or something like that, because everything can send me into a frenzy.
Well, sometimes you gotta ride that demon out. I'm sure he was a very exciting individual to be around.
Yeah, it was like 70s matron that had like a different prostitutes.
Okay.
And she always carried a very thick and heavy wooden cane, which obviously can be used to just stake somebody. So it was a fun character to play.
All right. Well, we have about 6 minutes before our hard start. Let me send one more message out to the rest of the coterie and see if we can get a response to where they are approximately.
Sure.
While we await. All right. Let's see if we can get a response back, because they don't seem to be on. Welcome aboard. What'd you have?
Chicken, potatoes, broccoli. You know, the usual.
Well, there's your usual, then there's my usual. We are just about perfectly set. I have not heard from Hestia, but that should be okay. We'll have a slower start in regards to Hestia, which is perfectly okay. All right, so we're 2 minutes past the half of the hour, so we are well into our hard start. All parties gathered and accounted for that are here. Let's do a little quick recap. This is the second season finale of Soup City Sins. And the title is In War, Truth is the First Casualty. Now, for the record, there is no city in the entirety of the world like Chicago. It's the creator of the suburb, the housing projects, the first blood bank. Chicago, by very definition of its history, is a city of extremes. From the very extreme of riches to the very extreme of destitution. It's a city that's always changing, reinventing itself nearly on a daily basis. It is, in its best encapsulation, the exact definition of the immovable object and the unstoppable force, combined and working in concert against itself. Over the course of its very long history as a city of kindred power, there have been 3 well-known, relatively great princes that have shaped the city. The most recent, the current, Prince Jackson, is a surprisingly dynamic force of conformity, at least on the surface. And what that means is that even though it's extolled as the crown jewel of the Camarilla, it exists in a state of war and battle that has never actually ceased. There have been armistices, there have been minor adjuncts, but never an out and out peace as far as the definition of the word means. People have merely stopped shooting at each other, stopped grabbing each other in dark alleys and dark places. The war has gone cold at times of its greatest peace. However, there is a cost that must be paid, and it is always paid, usually in innocent blood or just the blood of people that we care about. That seems to be the ever-present cost of living in the city of Chicago. Last night is no different, as you all playing hero have managed to save Clyde's family from the very excesses of that ever waging war. So, as per our usual, we'll start in alphabetical order. Clyde, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your rouse for the night, your awakening?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So your hunger goes to 4. And as per your usual awakening, your eyes snap open like shades drawn too tightly. And you're awake. And those 100 voices that dance in your head, spurring you to leaps of insight, leaps of logic, sometimes dynamic action, are predominantly silent. They're just whispering, murmuring amongst themselves. The one voice that is most present is a voice you rarely hear. It's your voice, it's your inner monologue. There's no reason to be hungry. There's no reason to feel this pain when there are over 300 lives less than 100 feet from where you currently are. The smartest thing would be to enter into the shelter and take the very first person that walks through the door.
Can I roll composure or something like that?
Yes, you can roll. You can roll a resolve on composure to stave off and leaping on the first thing moving, which will buy you a round, or you can just spend a willpower, which will buy you a round of activity to escape your coterie's haven and not feed on any of the lambs that reside within. Okay. That is not a complete success. That means you have managed to get up, get dressed, exit the building, but it's too bright out. It feels as if you are walking into the noonday sun. Your skin is hot and too tight, and there's no moisture that you can discern on your lips. The light is too blinding for you to see much beyond your nose.
So, the way I see my character, he's probably very, his humanity is very present at this moment because of the events of last night.
Mm-hmm.
He probably knows that it's not a good idea to try to feed directly, or at least not until having some sort of different nourishment. So can I try to find a street dog or a couple of street dogs or something like that?
Yes, you can definitely make that effort. That is your unspent willpower. And
Yep.
give that a roll and see if you can muscle and muster through.
Nope. All right, let's munch on somebody.
Clyde, you're a man of convictions. You're a man of restraint. You are a man that has made up his mind that there are just certain ways that things are done. Unfortunately for you, your inner voice, your inner demon, the beast that lives within your skin does not have those same compunctions, does not have that same restraint. You would never, typically, but yet here you are. You are a mile and a half from the haven. You've gone, you know that you're approximately north based on how close to the lake you are, but that's all that you are sure of, as the sand from the private beach you are on is grating against your shoe and just inside your sock. At your feet are two midnight strollers who happened upon something that shouldn't exist. That something is you, with your beast riding you like a hound of the hunt. They were clearly enjoying their stroll. There's a bottle of half-drunken wine. There's a few sandwiches that they've picked up from the White Hen Pantry, and based on the look of bliss on their face, you are the worst thing that has ever happened to them. Luckily, their pain is over. They will not have to worry any longer. Their skin isn't quite cold, but it's far from warm. Even if you didn't know that they were no longer living, you would suspect that they were simply dreaming. They were simply asleep. Despite the grievous wound across their neck and the damage you did to the boyfriend, brother, father, you're not sure which, but hopefully they were just boyfriend and girlfriend, or husband and wife, or fiance, because they passed together, having met the full weight of your hunger. You have zero hunger, your mouth and shirt stained with their life's blood. What would you like to do?
Well, first of all, I have to take care of my health, so I'm gonna do I'm gonna try to mend some of the damage I received,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna try to take care of these bodies.
As you crouch in this cool sand, as the lake laps at your feet, you attempt to lick the wound, and it's mostly successful, but you find that some of the wounds weren't directly from your fangs, and you see that the blood that you clearly sucked from your fingertips came from you driving your fingers into their necks as you fed, holding one as you drank from the other, hungrily lapping like some beast, some ravenous, wild, predatory animal, because that's what you were in that moment. Brief glimpses of what you managed to do to them flashes through your eyes as the cooling flesh brushes against your tongue as you heal and seal a few of the wounds. The others made by your fingertips are not so lucky. It tastes like ash, even as it tastes so great. There's still a portion of you that will continue sucking them like the last morsel of a fine meal that crawls closer to the surface. And while you seal and heal, Lucy, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your round, your awakening for the evening?
Didn't I do that earlier?
Oh, that's right. We're already in motion. Yeah, I'm sorry. I do forget that we were in media res with you. So as you realize that you have two bags of freshly obtained blood, you know that will last you, as long as you're not too heavy-handed, should last you 2 nights. That's not enough. Plus, somewhere along the way, there's a thought that creeps through. Maybe you should help Hestia replenish, or maybe even meet her sources so that you can replenish your own as well.
I was actually gonna suggest that I should ask Hestia where she gets her bags from.
Excellent. So you head down to Hestia. She's normally a early riser and is usually puttering around her lab, but it's quiet, unused. There's no sound coming from within, no mindless humming that she does when she's lost in thought. You knock and there's no response. Do you open the door and go in? Perhaps she's still sleeping. It was a very trying evening after all.
You know what? To heck with it, I will. I'm concerned.
You open the door to her lab and it's completely and totally silent. Nothing is on. Nothing is moving. The only thin hum is that from her grow lights that she has along the back wall with various plants and sundry biologic matter being observed or acted upon. But she's not in her lab. That is a rarity. She always begins her evening in her lab, even if it's just for a few minutes to check out a few things and jot down more notes. She's nowhere to be found.
Well, that's concerning. I will leave the lab and search the area for her, I guess. Search the... whatchamacallit? Haven.
You have 5 floors of hospital used and unused and spaces to make your way through. Starting at the top and working your way down.
Okay, maybe not the entire place.
There are lots of nooks and crannies to hide in, basically. Though why she'd be hiding is anyone's guess, but in your quick search, you realize that she really isn't in the Haven. There is no one else in the Haven either. No one's broken in. There's no signs of forced entry. There's nothing skulking in the darkness save yourself. In your travails through the Haven, searching for Hestia, you find that Simone is actually awake. He is musing a circlet that you recognize from your sojourn in the Underdark of the Succubus. Simone, Lucio, it's the beginning of the night.
I will turn to Simone and... Wait, is he in his room right now, or
He is. The door is slightly cracked. It's clear that he's done his usual routine of checking the door and security of the haven before returning to his rooms to a light.
I knock on his door.
Enter.
I enter.
What's up, Lucio? What's going on?
Hey, have you seen Hestia? I can't find her.
No. Did she text you?
No,
Did she call you?
she did not.
I'll take out my phone, check to see if she called or texted me.
No, not at all. She did not call nor text, which is, again, a little bit unlike her. She is the communicative contact sort of person.
I text her. You okay, girl? I'll wait for a response. After about 5 minutes, if she doesn't respond, I'll hop up and start searching her lab to see if anything looks out of the way.
Her lab is, as always, pristine, but she is no longer. She is not in presence. She has not been in presence. That much is obvious. Not that you're going to let anyone know specifically how you keep tabs on her, but you know for a fact that she has not been in her lab. And the moment a creeping sense of doubt pops into your head, so too does that the voice of the village elder back before your village was decimated. His voice, deep and melodic, begins speaking to you, and not speaking to you of anything that happened during your living days. It speaks to you as to how you very much could settle and cease the hunger if you just give in. There are over 300 lives near at hand. 300 little lambs that could be snuffed out. And one small life would not be that much in the grand scheme of things.
Just take a deep breath. I'll deal with my hunger in a moment. Hey,
Your phone's ring. It is who saved Clyde's number as Clyde? Or did you just take his number?
I hear you would be listed as DM3 in my phone.
Lucio, how would you have saved his number?
As Clyde.
You across your screen flashes Clyde, across Simone's screen flashes CM3. He is calling, which he was at the haven when you all bedded down when you passed out for your day's death, too. Why were you calling from inside the haven?
I will answer the phone.
Sorry, go ahead. Just which one of the two did I call?
You listed their number in a group call, so you called all of them.
All right.
Hello?
I say, hello, guys. I'm sorry to be a bother again, especially after last night and all that happened. But I seem to have a little problem and I can't solve it with my bike. So if somebody could give me a ride in a fairly spacious trunk, in a car with a fairly spacious trunk, it will be very appreciated.
Where are you right now?
Where am I? Out of character.
Luckily, Google is there for you. Your geolocation is on. You are on the lakefront. You're just south of the Chicago Evanston border. You're about a mile and a half from the haven.
I tell the general whereabouts because I don't want to send like a ping or something like that.
Well, it's a fairly well-known beach. It's a private beach. It's one of the more exclusive areas near the haven.
Yeah, I try to give them the best directions that I can.
All right. So, Lucio, having grown up in the area, you know that's a private beach. Simone, having been at the Haven as long as you have, you know that's one of the beaches that most of the residents know to stay away from because people tend to call the police just by having the wrong sort of person within view of that beach.
Lucio even made get hurt.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. What?
We may need to go get him quickly.
Yes, we do. Do you have a car?
Sure, don't we all have a car?
There's also the shelter vans that are used to pick up supplies from time to time.
We could probably use that.
Yeah, and I think he might be a better driver than I am. So, am I driving?
I'd prefer if you drove, since last night's drive was a bit hectic for me.
That's good. Okay, I'll drive.
Well, a mile and a half, and even in the slightly out-of-date vans that the shelter uses, takes you almost no time at all, which, unfortunately, with as many red lights that there are between you and there, is roughly about 10 and a half minutes, maybe closer to 12.
Can I make a roll to check if there are some cameras, private cameras, or street cameras?
Yes, you can. Go ahead, roll wits and security for me, please. Or no, wits and larceny.
Okay. Okay.
Alrighty. Well, one of the good things about committing heinous crimes on a private beach is that its exclusivity and the rarefied air. People tend to want their privacy there. So, as far as you can tell, there are no visible cameras that can see this section of the beach. However, that does not mean that any of the numerous condos which have balconies could not see this area of the beach. From a distance, it would just seem as if there were maybe, people doing things that they shouldn't on the beach. They couldn't tell exactly what transpired from that distance, but they would be able to be seen that there were people on the beach at such a late hour of the evening.
So I'm gonna put the male body on top of the female body just for the time being. And then I'm gonna try to step away to a more secluded place while the rest of the gang makes it here.
10 minutes later, almost 6.5 minutes since you tried to stage the corpses of your victims as if they were having a romantic interlude, the van arrives at the gate to the beach. They won't be able to drive the vehicle onto the sand, but it's just about 30 yards from where the corpses are to the van. You all get to the beach and see Clyde hanging around closer to the fence than on the beach, but it's clear from his clothing and the very delicious scent wafting off of him, mixed with the inland lake breeze. Well, it's fresh water, but still it has that sea air feel to it. There's a mist and a vibrancy. There's blood on him. Not just on him. He looks as if he was the front row member at a Gallagher concert, except for instead of watermelons, there were someone's heads that were used, the sledgehammers were used on.
Do we happen to have any plastic in this van?
Garbage bags.
Okay.
Clyde.
Out of character, I wake up in a different place where I went to sleep, right?
No, you woke up in the Haven. You managed to escape out, but it felt as if you were walking out into the sun, and then you woke up here. You came to yourself here.
Just checking. I'm gonna tell. I put my fingers in the bridge of my nose and I just lost it. Between all the fighting that we did last night. I just lost it. When I came about. I stared to the ground and they were dead. They didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, let's get out of here. I rolled down a window and actually turned the AC on full blast.
What have we done with the bodies?
So both of you guys get out to help Clyde move the bodies, or you guys gonna leave the bodies there?
Oh, I'm gonna tell them that it's not a good idea, especially since the sheriff already know my name, and not for the best of reasons. So leaving two bodies just laying there is a sure recipe for trouble.
It most assuredly is.
Okay. Alright. Clyde, can you drive this car about into like a darker area, like away from here?
Yeah, sure.
Drive into the shadows, turn on, and wait there until you see us coming with the bodies, and then let us know.
All right, guys. I have a very distraught face. I probably gonna pay for this later. So I go to the van and then try to find like a more secluded place.
Simone, your phone rings. Right
Look at it. Who is it?
It's Hestia.
Right. Hello? You okay?
We didn't get any sound on that one, Hestia.
Okay, hold on. Let me tell
There we go.
So what's up? Like, you called me, but I didn't hear anything.
Yeah, Lucio was missing you, so he wondered where you were. And I vaguely cared.
Did I hear that?
Yes, you did.
God damn it, Simone.
What? You came into my room looking for her.
Okay, that's cute and all, but what's going on?
You wasn't there, but we're kind of tied up. Can I hit you back at about 10? Maybe 20.
He can almost hear the eyes narrowing on the other side. And she's like, why?
10, 15 max. Really important.
Lucio, Simone. Clyde stepped away for a second, so he's, getting behind the wheel of the vehicle. Even or odd?
Even?
Alright.
She's still listening, but alright, I guess.
As you are standing there listening to Hestia and trying to respond, get to shoot Clyde along, a block over you can see a newer police cruiser slowly trailing along the inner outer drive. It's the local for Lakeshore Drive. So it's clear that based on how they're moving, that they're working their way towards the beach to make sure that no one's there when they should be.
That's why I was trying to get him in the car so we can move quickly.
Alright, we gotta move this along right now.
Clyde, you catch sight of a police cruiser a block away from where you are right now. As you're getting behind the wheel of the shelter's van, it continues on its path moving north, but all the voices in your head start screaming at once. Oh my god, we've been caught. Oh my god, they're coming right here. They're looking directly at us. They're looking for us. Oh my god.
Yeah. Is one cop or two cops in the car?
From this distance, you couldn't tell, but it is one of the newer cruisers. They typically row 3 deep, and they're usually used in high crime areas or just as a point of force.
Okay. I'm gonna try to pop my collar and be as inconspicuous as I can.
Alright, so if you leave that area, that you are definitely going to increase the distance that Simone and Lucio have to carry 2 corpses. It right now is a straight shot 30 yards. Take them about 6.5 minutes. Unless, of course, they sprint, which, could attract attention.
I'm gonna get out of the van and make like if I were smoking.
Excellent. You get out of the van and you dig through your pockets and you come up with a pack of Black Death cigarettes. You're not sure where those came from. Because 1, if you did smoke, that wouldn't be your brand. 2, they smell absolutely odious. They are the rawest of tobacco and nicotine you've ever had the opportunity to inhale. Just taking the pack out feels as if your hands are stained with tobacco juice.
Oh, I'm gonna rouse the blood to try to look less dead.
All right, go ahead and give that rouse roll, sir.
Okay.
The beast comes roaring back. How dare you put this garbage in our body? What's wrong with you? You do look more human, except for now you look like the sort that would, do a live-action roleplay version of Dexter. Lucio, Simone, the bodies are roughly 30 yards from the back of the van. In a straight shot, it's 30 yards carrying dead weight. If Clyde were to go to another location, you would increase the distance that you'd have to carry the body. What would you guys like to do? Are you going to adapt on the fly?
Would Soaring Leap help at all in this situation?
Soaring Leap would help. It would increase how quickly you can get the job done, but it is guaranteed that someone who's, idly glancing at the beach would definitely see and become curious. High risk, high reward.
Lucio, how long would it take you to load the body by yourself?
About 5 seconds if no one's looking.
All
I
right.
look around to see if anyone's looking.
Well, there's no one on the street because they know that, hanging around the beach when the cops are getting ready to shut it down is always a bad idea. The people who live in the area. However, there are condos that line the edge of the beach and would have a view of it. Look, why they pay as much as they do. So they have a view of the beach and the lake. And access to the private beach that you guys are on.
How well lit is this area?
Where you are right now, extremely. Closer to the waterfront, not so much. So you have about a 15-yard wide open, well-lit portion. The rest is occluded. And what level is your potence at?
1 dot.
Okay, so yeah, it would take you about 3 leaps.
Alright, in that case, I'm gonna carry one of the bodies closer to the van, and then is the van in the non-well-lit area?
No, it's up against the fence. The parking lot is well lit, unfortunately.
No, I tried to move it to a more secluded area.
Oh, okay. Well, that 30 yards, moving into the best shadow possible. Are you moving down the block, or are you going to try to just move to a more secluded corner of the parking lot?
No, I mean, before this, when I got into the van, I tried to move it to some place that is not like in the middle of a parking. Maybe somewhere behind the buildings where the dumpsters are, or something like that.
Okay. So you're gonna move it. Okay. So we're gonna say that you moved into one of the parking structures connected with one of the nearby condominiums, not nearly as well lit and slightly out of sight.
Yep.
However, it does increase the 30 yards to just under 50. All right. How are you guys going to coordinate? What are you guys going to do?
So I'd like to pick up one of the bodies and carry it to a closer to the van, and when I get to a less well-lit area, I'm going to soaring leap closer to the van to speed up the process.
Okay, sounds like a plan. So that's going to, not that you're not strong enough to carry the body. You are an ubermensch as far as things go. However, we're going to have you roll your dexterity and athletics because it is a matter of dead weight. Landing won't be an issue, especially with your strength. It's merely accuracy at this point because it throws you off.
100 dice as well?
Yes, sir.
Have mercy, please, dice gods.
There you go. Nicely done, sir.
Okay.
So, despite never having disposed of a body in this manner, Lucio seems to be an old hand at it. The additional distance is a leap and a skip. It's like a long jump that you're preparing for, and you manage to do so. It's going to take you, instead of it being the full 6 minutes, it's closer to like 4. In that 4 minutes, Simone, what are you doing?
Well, this is gonna shock. How are the cops still driving slowly towards us, or are they like going nowhere?
Well, they're going north, then they're going to hit that corner, and they're going to turn around and come back. So it's going to take them about 2.5 minutes to get back to the parking lot, which means they'll be within sight of the body, the corpse being moved.
Okay.
So
Alright, Lucio, when you get the bodies loaded up,
it's going to take him 4 minutes. They'll be back in 2. So the first body is being thrown onto the garbage bag covered floor of the van, and he's making his way back for the second body, and they are pulling into the parking lot. What are you doing?
I actually dart away from them full speed. Dart like crossing them, going into the other way, so they can see that I left the area, so that they would go into that.
So you're gonna try to pull them away. All right. So that being the case, sir, roll your manipulation and streetwise. You need 3 successes so that they give actual chase. Just a guy running.
Manipulation and
Streetwise. Because just a guy out for a night jog, he's clearly not on the beach. There's not really not much reason to chase him. You go running past them. They flash their light after you. I see that you're still moving away from the beach. So they stop the car and get out.
You gonna say anything?
Even or odd?
Alright.
Alright, let's see what the dice gods have in store for you, sir. The driver is not alone. It is a 3-man unit. They were coming to shut down the beach. The driver, clearly the younger of the 3, takes off after you. The older passenger in the lead of the car starts talking into his handset, his walkie, radioing down the beach so that you are intercepted. The other gentleman thinks about it and decides to go take a leak. Lucio, you have the girl up in your arms, and you turn back toward the fence and you see a cop moving in your direction. Simone, you hear the pitter-patter of one pair of feet behind you. You look over your shoulder and you see that one officer is giving chase, another is standing at the car with his handset up to his lips, and the other is moving towards the beach. What do?
I actually start slowing down and start jogging in place.
Okay. Clyde, you see one of the officers moving toward the beach towards Lucio. Another at the car talking on his handset. And a third chasing behind Simone. What do?
I'm gonna go to the cop that has the radio, and then start waving my hands in the air, like trying to get his attention. When I reach him, I'm gonna tell him that guy that just ran away mobbed a woman the next street over, and they need to check that out. And then I'm gonna apply a little command.
What's your command?
Go and check the check the next street over.
Alright, and you're going to use Mesmerize?
I can do command, the first one. And if not, I will use Mesmerize.
Compel is more of a...
Oh no, forget. I have a loud memory, so yeah, Mesmerize.
Okay. So, that does require a rouse roll. And he doesn't have any resistance against that. So you're going to need 2 instructions to go check the next block over.
Yep.
I see. He yells to his partner, "Hey, stop that guy! He mugged the lady the next block over. Friend, go check on her." The other guy pauses at the fence, does he notice that there are people on the beach that shouldn't be there? Let's take a quick gander at his awareness here. Lucio, your heart's beating in your chest, even though it doesn't beat, but your palms are sweaty. There's a cold, clammy sensation crawling over your skin. He looks dead at you. And back over his shoulder, turns back toward the his partner. What? What are you talking about? A mugging? There was nothing over. You know what? All right, fine, whatever. He somehow didn't see you. He looked directly at you. You're the only thing out there. You're the only thing on the beach within view. And you're not a short guy, but somehow he didn't see you. It's clear based on how he's walking that he clearly has some visual issues that he's dealing with.
I got such a lucky break. And I'm going to make a break for the van.
The gentleman chasing behind you, Simone, when you stop and start jogging in place, he's mid-leap for a tackle to take you to the ground. What are you doing?
Roll with impact.
Alright, so he leaps. It's clear that he had a very active high school athletic career because he hits you with just enough force to take you completely off your feet. Even though you are prepared to roll with it, you were not expecting to be hit as hard as he did. That's two bashing damage as you roll with it. And his partner yells for him to restrain you. There's a mugging that you did the next block over. They're going to go check on it. So, two of the officers are heading a block over. Lucio, you make it to the van and you see Simone get hit as if Mean Joe Green was trying to collect a debt owed to him. Brian Urlacher, sort of middle linebacker, solid, dead-on hit, full shoulder drop. It is a thing to behold. You would have won money if he played football, based on that hit. Clyde, you see Simone take the hit and go down. What are you and Lucio doing, considering that the other two officers are heading on foot a block over, flashlights out?
We still have one body to move, right?
Nope, Lucio's getting that body into the van now.
Okay. So I'm gonna go to the jump cop. Try to tell him,
Get back! Get back! He starts barking orders as he's trying to wrestle his handcuffs out to restrain Simone.
Can I make eye contact with him?
Potentially, yes.
Yep. If I manage to make eye contact, I'm gonna tell him that your bodies need the car, and it's better if you take it with him.
All right, high-low. Well, that was only one die. I'm not going to hold that against you. Fate has so far been on you guys' side for this comedy of errors. The cop actually catches your eye as he's trying to demand that you get further back as he restrains this clearly violent criminal. And he stands up. Keep your eye on him. One handcuff on the wrist, and he begins walking behind his partners.
Yep. As soon as they are out of sight, let's jump into the van.
You're right.
Simone, Lucio, the cops disappear around the corner. Simone, Clyde, you're rushing towards the van. Lucio, you just have the bodies secured. The young girl's body. There's still a stain on the beach. It's clear something happened. If anybody actually bothers to investigate the beach, but there aren't any bodies present, so there is that. However, with your hunger being where it is, the remnants of blood require a resolve and composure roll. Both you and Simone, when you get to the van, you didn't realize that there was that much damage having been done to them. The blood was still sticking to their skin. That outside of the peaceful look on their faces, their bodies, even with having the wounds sealed, there are 4 grievous punctures from fingers holding one still as they drain the other. So go ahead and roll your resolve and composure for me, guys. And welcome back, Hestia. Your source of your resources are dry. It's not a drought, it's just that there's been so much violence in the city that there aren't much recourses. People aren't willing to do business, at least not reputable people. So you are heading back toward the haven a little empty-handed when your phone rings again. It's Urzuli.
Okay, sorry about that. I try to keep the worry out of my voice, but I answer, "Hey, girl. So what's up?"
Oh, hey, girl. You know what? I've been meaning to talk to you. I've been meaning to call you, but I've been so busy. Your fearless leader, your boyfriend that the whole permission to have a hard on for. He's been busy as all get out. Him and Marcel have been zooming and zipping and zapping all over the city, getting things done for the government, as they call themselves. But in the process of all this, I'm sorry, I got distracted. I'm getting off subject. Newberry wanted to make amends with y'all, and your fearless leader been so busy with Marcel, he said that you were his second. And so he asked and asked and asked, and I was busy, and I don't want him coming around the disco. He brings that very, very preppy, scandalous vibe with him, you know what I mean? So I gave him your number for him to make amends. He was supposed to set up a meeting with you for y'all to come down to Red No 5, get a table on me and Ads, and hash things out. Because he says he's heard some things that Bucky, Lucius, you know, the little dark-haired one of your team, the one that looks like Magna P.I.'s younger brother, ain't as bad as he seems.
She's kind of caught in between 2 places. One of the places is seething anger. Her jaw is a little bit clenched, but then just the way Urzili speaks sometimes catches her off guard and she can't help but laugh. But there's still that, I am so angry right now. And then she's like, at the same time, boyfriend? What are you talking? I'm not dating anybody.
You know, the little sly one that was hanging around all around with Rosa. Him, the one that they call your leader, cameraman.
If anybody was my boyfriend, it's sure as hell not gonna be him.
Well, out of all of them, he's about the one that ain't come down and hung out that much. He's been down a couple of times. He don't let himself go enough. He needs to get in touch with his sensitive side, I think. Or maybe get in touch with somebody's sensitive side.
Not mine. It's not happening. Sorry. But anyway, yeah. Oh, you gave him my number?
He was supposed to call and set up a meeting. I was supposed to help. I just been so busy. And it's just your number. It ain't like you keep the same.
Girl, let me forward you what he sent me.
Yeah, you say he sent you dick pics. I don't want to look at his little shriveled man junk.
No, not like that. And she just like forwards all the pictures that she was sent from Jason.
Girl, these ain't dick pics. These
Think
are
about it.
white men and black men.
Richard. They're all Richards.
Girl, you stupid.
No, I'm not. I'm not at all. That's the only thing they all have in common. Richard, aka Dick. Pictures of Dick.
That does not. That makes no sense.
He's an Alcanian. What do you want from me? Anyway.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry.
Well, I guess can't unspill the milk, but he didn't say anything about meeting up, so I'm glad I called you. But I guess I'm not gonna block him. I'm gonna try to see what he has to say. But you know I'm not physically trusting nobody. So
I know. I messed up. I'm truly sorry. I've just been really, really busy. There's been a lot of things going on. We done added an additional 30 members. I didn't even know there was that many of us floating around Chicago, but these people are coming from locally and ain't been at no Elysiums. They ain't been. Hell, if I didn't know any better, I swear that one of them was homeless just a month ago. But you know.
Wait a minute. Could you take a picture of them, or when next time you see them, send them to me? Because we've been having some things happen here, and we're worried about it. Our homeless are going missing, and then like either popping up somewhere else, or I think they're being turned or embraced. Sorry.
You know that's illegal as all get out. Anybody responsible for that definitely gonna get the death sentence. Y'all lucky y'all got away with what y'all did. Making new ones, man, you might as well just go ahead and get your suntan on right now.
But where else are they coming from? You
That's
said
what
that they're all new and they don't know anything.
That's what I was wondering. But I ran it by Marcel. And he says that him and Cam got the census or something well in hand, and they are people that have already been accounted for. But I don't remember seeing them. I swear to God. And now I know me some man meat, and that man meat that I saw, tall, dark, blonde head, eyes glittering like snow in the sunlight. But anyway, enough of that. We doing a special get together in the south suburbs. We're gonna be in Dalton. Everything's almost set up. Why don't you bring your people and we hang out and you can see them for yourself?
When?
Tonight. I told you I've been busy. I would have sent you an invite and let you know, but again, I've been busy. Let me make it up to you with some drinks and some good times, and you get a chance to scratch your little itch and see if these new faces are some people y'all recognize.
Alright, I'll talk to the rest of the group and we'll try to swing by.
Don't try. Be there. It's gonna be a late show. We're not starting until midnight.
Okay. Fair.
Bring yourselves. You know that we turn it out like nobody's business. Bring yourselves. Dress for fun. I know you know how, but some of your people don't.
That's fair. Okay, I'll be there.
All right, girl. Bye.
Bye. So she hangs up and heads back to the Haven because there's nothing else she can do about the whole blood bag situation. She realizes she's gonna have to go to some of her what you call those go arounds or go betweens.
Her cutouts.
Yeah, so that's not her directly, but will go as a go between for her to do what she needs done.
Okay, so you make your way back. So you make your way back to the Haven, texting up a storm, reaching out to various sources and people in the scientific community as well as the medical community to make some connections.
Yeah.
And less than a quarter mile away from where you are, you all have two corpses in the back of the van and is doing nothing to keep your beast at bay. Clyde, you're perfectly fine. You were completely satiated, so even it rearing the whisper of its head is almost music to your ears, because as long as you can hear your beast, you will not get blindsided. Lucio, Simone, your beasts are nothing to play with. You've seen how far and depraved that it will go. Unless, of course, you guys want to go back there and revisit that dark portion of yesterday or the day before or the last time your beast took over. You all definitely need pate. You definitely need blood. It's only so long you can hold out, especially with the perfume of those two lost lives in the back of the van dancing across your palate.
I can't believe I'm doing this. Hiding bodies, I mean.
Clyde's gonna look at Lucio and tell him it's usually not like this. I tend to be more careful. Sometimes, it takes over.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Well, I'm in your debt for tonight and obviously for last night, so anything any of you need, just say the word.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge later. We gotta get to the plan. And did they ever upgrade our Haven so that we can get the cars in without being seen?
Yeah, you can get to the sub basement. That's the way you entered last night. You can get to the sub basement and get the body there. It's closest to what was formerly the morgue. But 2 nights in a row, you guys are entering in through one of your less public entrances. The security portion of your brain is screaming.
Hate myself, but it gotta be done. I can't take a chance on someone else saying, let's go in.
Alrighty, sounds like a plan. So getting in is not a problem. It's just people notice patterns, even people who are absent-minded, and that's what's setting off both you and Lucio's security alarms, your mental alarms.
Is anyone around? Like, that we can see?
Nope, as per usual, this area of
Well, this area of the Haven and former hospital is completely and totally secluded.
Okay, no one was walking around while we were driving in, right?
Nope. For you reaching out to those particular people, Simone, you will need to go ahead and roll your charisma and persuasion. You do need a relatively higher success, so you're gonna need 3, and it'll take a while. And each success above 3 will increase the time, the speed of which they'll arrive. And Lucio? Yeah, you have controlled yourself as much as you possibly can. You've put off feeding from the vein, but you know that if you enter into the Haven proper, into the shelter portion of the Haven, there's a very good chance that, yeah, it's gonna come roaring back. It's gonna come and attack you. It's going to take your good reason and control from you.
Can I... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's a good thing I have those blood bags left over.
Yes, you do. But you know that depletes your reserves further. You need to replenish. Because you don't want to be this low and not have that sources. The last time you were without easy access, you don't want to relive that. It was by the skin of your teeth that you held it at bay. Your phone. No, go on.
I was going to say, yeah, I need to ask Hestia about where she gets her blood bags.
Definitively. Simone's phone started vibrating as if it's in the middle of an earthquake. It goes off nonstop. There are several different variations on a theme. Each one has a different vibrational tone. Hestia, you are making your way back to the Haven, and you see one of the shelter vans pulling into the roundabout that leads down into the sub-basement. What do you do? You can see who's driving as well. It's Clyde.
Well, since I remember the message that I got, I make sure that I meet them in the tunnels when we get in.
All
I'll
right.
get a group together, by the way. I need a lot of blood, so I'll get a group together.
Your phone is going off and off and off and off.
I
No.
can make plans for it with at least 3.
Are you going to their places, or are you trying to have them meet you some?
Definitely their places if they want, or I can get a hotel room and they can come in. Either or. At this point, desperation.
Well, there's the Heart of Chicago Motel down about 2 miles from the Haven. It's south off of Ridge. I mean, if you ran, you could be there in, 20 minutes.
That'll do. Is it at least a decent looking place? Gotta have standards. Is it at least a decent looking place?
Decent looking?
Well, a decent enough place. It's not like a no-tail.
It is definitely a no-tell, but they have nicer rooms. They have a honeymoon suite. The bed is shaped like a heart. The van
Yeah,
pulls in.
that'll do.
The van pulls in and Hestia standing there waiting. You have two corpses. And Hestia, what are you guys doing?
I
Her
want to go
arms are
making
definitely
plans.
crossed.
Lucio, Clyde, Hestia.
Well, like I said, when they pull in, her arms are definitely crossed, and she's giving them the evil eye for sure. And then I guess I would assume that as they get out, the scent of blood hits me.
Oh yeah, nice and bright, fresh. You haven't had fresh from the vein, and now that you remember tasting, quite some time. You're not counting your slip when the beast broke through. That doesn't count. You need a chance to enjoy that. You need a chance to savor. You need a chance to really experience that. This, however, is another matter entirely. This you get to savor. This you can enjoy. They're long past caring anyway.
Here's a very deep, very tired sigh, and I look each of them in the eye. Well, it's just becoming a bit of a habit.
Well, I'd like to go deep detail about everything that just happened, but I got to get ready for a date. But Lucio will let you know exactly what happened. He'll fill in all the blanks.
Don't get missing too long because we got invited out tonight.
Yeah, just take me location. I got things to do. Yeah.
Again, she gives him the glare, but doesn't dwell on it. So the other two, again, there's no arguing with it no more. She feels bad about it. She feels horrible about it because it's 2 lives, but they're gone. So basically, her pragmatism is kicking in, and she knows that she has some medical supplies down in the morgue room. And what she's going to do is harvest what she can, because that'll solve some of the problems they're all having.
Most assuredly. And we will take on the view of our camera as it pulls back away from the coterie as Clyde, Lucio, and Hestia wheel the bodies into the morgue area, and they began breaking down the bodies, the blood splattering here and there, saving as much as they possibly can, wringing the heart dry of its last drops of blood.
I would like to say that Lucio wants no part of that.
I'd love to help, but I got that thing.
Oh no, she's not gonna cut them up. She's gonna drain them, but she's not gonna cut them up. That would be disrespectful. They've already been disrespected enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell Hestia, just tell me where you want the bodies. I will do it.
All right, we have our pause. We'll break as you all commiserate over the bagging of. You'd probably be able to make a bag and a half from what's left in the corpses, and we'll pick back up at the turning of the hour. We're gonna take a quick 10 minutes, and we'll come back to the coterie. Lucio finishing at least one of his blood bags separately in his room, away from the carnage that would come naturally from draining corpses, and Hestia and Clyde settling that matter. So see you guys in 10 minutes.
All right.
Do-do-do-do.
I'm back.
Welcome back. All right. Everyone back?
Yep.
All right. So, Simone, would you be so kind as to roll your resolve and composure for me, please?
All right, am I including hunger?
Yes, you are. All right. So, in the course of your interludes, you managed to not reveal just how ravenous you actually are. You do have the mental wherewithal and conscience to not drain either of your assassinations completely if you don't wish, though you know that draining one of them, just one, completely would ensure that you have no hunger left. You would quiet the beast for quite some time at least.
No.
Okay. So, a little worse for wear, and feeling the better for it, you make your way back to the Haven. In doing so, you enter back in through, just to make sure that none of the secrets of the coterie's Haven has been revealed to any onlookers. So you do a circuit of the Haven, make sure that no eyes are out, no one's hanging around the roundabout that leads down into the sub basement. You make sure that it is just as out of the way as usual. You do realize that in doing so, there's a matter you have not tended to as of yet that is still pressing. You realize that because as you make your way around the coterie's Haven, you spot the telltale sign of undercover police officers. They're not watching the Haven per se. They're watching the area. There's nothing in this area. You guys have taken pains and time and effort to make sure that the area immediately around the Haven is almost completely crime free. Yet you have 4 detectives from the gang unit posted up on the northern end of what you guys have claimed as your domain. There's no reason to be there. This area is 100%, as far as you are aware, crime free. So while they're watching the area, the message is simple. Time is in fact running out.
Check. Got it. I run back. I'm figuring that Hestia and Lucio and doing something like that. So I head to that area.
You head where?
I head to where they wouldn't normally go deal with disposal of the body.
Alright. So you head into the Haven. You go in through the sanctuary so that you can access the shelter's egress into the Haven to further obfuscate that there's more to the shelter than just the shelter. In doing so, you get a chance to see the ebb and flow of the nightlife of the shelter. You know, the usual groups of people are hanging out with one another, and it seems as if Mike is back from his many exits. And there's no other way to describe Mike except for that scary dude. When you and Hestia first started this and ensured a place for the shelter, Mike was one of the people that was much like you, except for he's not kindred. But he definitely is an avenger of sorts, a hired gun, a muscle, someone who has no problem and takes some great pleasure from hurting others who he views as having done wrong. He is literally a weapon. You wind him up and set him loose, and he will decimate most things, living or dead. But he's back, which is normally a good sign that at least there's someone who's watching out, who's security minded. But it's also bad because you know that there will definitely be incidents. People will be hurt.
I walk over to him. Soldier.
Sorochi. He stands up and rolls his shoulder in his usual display of aggression. It's not actively targeting anyone. It's just his natural instinct to hurt. It's a mindless compulsion almost, where he just can't resist. In fact, more times than not, he is overly aggressive because he doesn't know any other way to live, to be honest to himself.
Sit rep.
We've had 8 uni cars in the area. Had 4 unmarked. They even had a white shirt floating in the area. Something big is coming down.
Been watching that. Can you set a line?
Already set.
Figured as much. Let me know if it goes sideways.
Yeah, I'll tell you where to send my text.
That's all we can ask. I head down to where it has to be the rest of the movie.
And as you're a few feet further from him, he calls out, "Who's a squirrely, chubby guy?"
What a Hestia's pet. Exactly.
Lucio, you're in your room. You finished off a bag, and it feels absolutely 100% delicious. You have calmed. You didn't tame it, but you calmed the beast. It is no longer waiting for you to turn a blind eye to slip loose its bonds, but it is there, lolling, waiting. Because you know it's not gone, but the edge is definitely off. Your hunger is at 1, and you have 1 bag left.
Oh, this has been a rough couple of nights. First, I nearly killed my supplier. Now I have to, or helped hide some bodies. Good God, what am I doing with my unlife?
And your dinosaur phone, your little Nextel Motorola, chirps. It has been roughly 5.5 years since it's chirped, since it's made that noise. There shouldn't be anyone else who has the option to chirp anymore. Everyone is doing the I this, the Galaxy that, Samsung, whatever, but yeah, your phone chirps. Do you respond?
Who dares?
You chirp back, "Who dares?" And you hear your sister's voice laughing. "Don't be stupid. Hey, Mom and Dad want to do a thing for you."
A thing?
Yeah, they think that you are drinking, drugging, and doing something that you're not proud of. So they want to let you know that they care.
Damn it.
Some soft therapy thing they're doing. So, trying to get you a heads up because you know how they get.
Yeah, actually, I've been meaning to talk to them about something that came up recently.
Oh God, don't tell me they're right.
No, they aren't. It's... I'll explain it later. It's something I still have to work through.
Okay, you know they're gonna be calling soon. I'm trying to give you the heads up, Mom.
They're
Dad's trying
gonna
to,
call.
yeah, Dad's trying to slow Mom down. She's gonna invite you, demand you show up. We're doing Sunday dinner again. It's her way of trying to sneak it past everybody, but it's really about you. Dad's gonna give you his old beater because he thinks that may be one of your issues. He's trying to tell Mom that it's just you don't have a car anymore to cover for you. Because you know how they can be. But anyway, I'll see you around. I just wanted to let you know, be on your guard. Mom's going to invite you Sunday for dinner. So be on your best behavior this time.
Thanks for the heads up. I appreciate it.
All right, love you, bro.
Hey, before you go,
Yeah.
don't ever change.
Change is the one constant in the universe. So if you change, you're really staying who you really are. You're becoming more of whatever it is you really are. Sorry, we're having a philosophy session.
That's what I always like about our conversations. Alright, thanks again.
You're welcome. Be good. And she hangs up. She ends the chirp. Clyde, you and Hestia just finished with the last few drams of blood. And you see the female for a split second as Liz. And you can imagine that being Liz. Liz and Bob, they do romantic little things. They disappear, take long walks. They go into buildings and graveyards and out of the way places together. They enjoy proving the world is larger and less scary than people believe. That the superstitions of the past don't actually have control over where we as humans go.
I probably start having a conversation with myself and kind of recriminating or self-deprecating in the sense that no, she didn't deserve it, but now perhaps we can do something for the people left behind.
It's never happened before. You've always talked to any innumerable number of voices that are floating around, the personalities that had just show up. You're not sure exactly how you collect them or how they appear to you. But Liz is suddenly there. In person, as far as you can tell. You know she's not, but you can see her. Unlike the other voices, it's not just inside behind your eyelids. You see her walking across the floor towards you, arms outstretched for her usual greeting of a big bear hug. She hugs you tight. Everything will work out. There's nothing that goes bump in the night that we can't prove. It's just a figment of our imaginations. Perk up.
I'm gonna try to search for identification of the people.
So you start going through the gentleman's pockets first. There's your standard card wallet, your card holder. Seems as if he was a attorney, not just any attorney. Seems as if he was a member of law enforcement. There's a badge from the Attorney General's office, the local attorney prosecutor's office. There's a ring box. You're hoping that it's not what it is, but you know it's very much a ring, a wedding band. He was going to propose, perhaps was in the middle of getting ready to propose when your monster happened upon them.
I'm gonna try to make a note of both of the names and then get rid of the documents and the rest of the body.
Yeah, and then there is that you all have to find a way to discard the body so that if it is found, it can't be identified. The cop in your head starts talking. First thing they're going to do is going to check fingerprints. Then they're going to check teeth, dental records. Then they're going to look and see if there's any sports injuries to run, any pins or joint replacements. Then they're going to plaster their face all over. And eventually, someone's going to recognize, especially if there's anything left to recognize. You know what you got to do.
I'm gonna ask Heshtia. So how does this usually go? Do you have like a crematory or something?
At current, she's watching him and every move he makes. So when he starts pulling the wallet out and some of the things she's seeing in the wallet, her face changes. Recognizing the pure amount of crap they are now more deeply entrenched in because they're already on the bad side of the cops. They've got cops circling the Haven, and now we have a dead police officer or some form of law enforcement and his almost fiance. Her face, she's scrubbing at her face, trying to keep herself together, and just kind of looks at him, and she's just like, there can't be anything left. I'm going to hand you these bags. Take the bags upstairs to Lucio. I will handle it.
I'm gonna tell her. Can I make a insight check?
In regards to?
Just to see why is she so distraught.
Well, it's clearly something with her looking over your shoulder. Well, not far from your shoulder. Whatever you pulled out of his pocket would have been what set her off. Either the rings or the wallet, or maybe she knew him or knew of him.
I turn to Heshtia and I'm gonna tell her, don't worry. I'm gonna find a good ending for these two.
Okay, I get it, but you're not understanding what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is we've already, as a coterie, had several bad run-ins with the law enforcement of this area, and they are not our favorite people, and we're not their favorite people either. So the fact that now we have another dead cop, it's not a good thing. They cannot be found.
No, I know. First, we get rid of the body, and then I'm gonna try to find a relative, and they are gonna think they eloped probably to some tropical place to drink some fruity drinks.
Okay, that's fine. I'll leave that to you, but I will handle the bodies. Please, if you could take these bags of blood to Lucio, he's going to need them. You might want to shower and change your clothes. We're going back out tonight. I'll handle this.
Alright. I take the bags and turn back to Heshtia and said, thanks for all the support, and then go upstairs with the blood bags.
All right. So As you are alone with the bodies, Hestia, you are taken back to Kieran. One of the first things she did to kind of vet your mind was a few social puzzles she laid out in front of you. How easy is it to affect the world around you by pulling on one string of a family, by bolstering one member of the family for close-knit neighborhoods, much like you grew up in. You were able to make noticeable differences in their potential outcomes. You ensured that one of the boys who used to sell, the weed on the corner got out of the business. Not only did he get out of the business, he got out of the business and got a regular 9-to-5 job, a well-paying 9-to-5 job. He was making $2.25 per hour, exactly 75 cents above minimum wage. Within a year, he had managed to save up enough that he had his own car and his own house within a year. Small changes make big differences. The ripple effect was evident because the money that he was bringing back to the neighborhood, while in the grand scheme of things was nothing but one less corner boy, one better example of what was possible, and the neighborhood immediately took notice. The neighborhood immediately started working together. His word, his recommendations, there were 4 other boys from the neighborhood who were hired on within that first year. There were 4 other families affected by one small change. So what are you going to do with the bodies? What changes are you going to do?
Respectfully as she can, in meditation and silence, the clothes are stripped and destroyed. They're cleaned and washed. She says some words for them both, and sends them to the light. And then the bodies are also destroyed.
Alright, roll composure and awareness for me, please. You managed to not break down. You managed to not allow that tearful release, but your hands are trembling. Your eyes are a little itchy, and you watch as those 2 lives cease to be completely and totally. You don't dare to peer into the darkness that lines the world and acts as a barrier between this world and the next, but you can feel the addition of some other presence into the many spirits that flow in and out of the coterie's haven. You don't want to look, you don't want to stare, but you can't help it. There's a warm sensation, almost as if 2 hands are resting on your shoulders. Before you clean yourself up, put on your mask and head to your quarters to get changed and dressed. Moments later, all of you all are in the coterie's meeting area at the Haven as you prepared everyone for the drive out to Dalton. Is there any information you'd like to relate to anyone and everyone?
I relate to everybody that the cops out there, and we like getting rid of those kidnapping and the cops are being used in stuff as a threat.
I in turn relay that one of the bodies that we are now completely rid of was in fact a law enforcement officer. But I don't dwell on it because dwelling on it would lead me back to what had to happen. So instead, I shift gears and explain to them the adventures with Jason Newberry texting my phone and what he sent me, and explaining how he got my number in the first place, and explaining where we were going tonight and why, as including the fact that Urzuli has been seeing a large amount of new kindred arriving at her parties, and she doesn't recognize them, but something tells her something about that they look like that at one point they might have been homeless, but now they're doing well and they're well off, and now they're kindred. And linking that back to some of the other issues we were having about some of our lambs going missing from us and disappearing, and the suspicion that they're being embraced and either sent other places or let loose in the city or killed again for some reason. Tying that back to the bodies that we all found in that room and the pictures that I took, which are still on my non-throwaway phone.
All right. Any questions? Any suggestions? Any further?
I suggest. Oh, and by the way, we have to see the premiere of the Toya documentary. Also, maybe even tonight.
We have to why?
Because she wants our presence, and we have to kind of do that or rest angry. Your choice. I mean, do you?
I don't know. That doesn't just seem just a little suspicious to you?
Well, I found one of her more favorite clan members dead, and so she wants to, meet the coterie.
She's met us. Remember the whole trial thing?
Yeah, about that. Although, in priority, we still need to probably find the person who's murdering Kindred, so the cops get away from the haven.
Well, I thought you were going to help me send the pictures to your contact about this whole situation, this task they gave you, and tell them that you have to be up above your pay grade and that you need help. Because that's a lot of dead kindred.
Yeah. You see those cops outside? That was their response.
That's because we didn't send them the information. We have to do that.
Huh? Right.
So it's an interesting drive out to Dalton. Driving through the city, even on the expressway, you can see the immediate socio-economic differences from one neighborhood to the next. And while Dalton isn't as bad as his neighbor Harvey, it is still on the downward trend as far as things are concerned. It is Illinois' version of Gary, or Illinois' version of what happened to Detroit. It is a city in disrepair. It was formerly one of the largest meccas of entrenched and stratified domain of people of color. That has recently changed in the last 20 years, but it still holds on to being one of the last bastions of American descendants of slavery's enclaves in the Chicago area. It is, in fact, a different city officially, though the truth of the matter is, as far as most Chicagoans concerned, Dalton is just another suburb, another neighborhood of the city itself. Driving through the city, and two things become very apparent. One, they shouldn't call themselves a city, and two, they barely quantify as a town. It really is, for all intents and purposes, just another neighborhood in the grand scheme of things that are Chicago. Getting to the location, you are a little surprised. This club is a strip club. It's a strip club with a dance floor. It's a strip club that is 100% co-ed. It is a strip club that would not be out of place in Las Vegas. It is glitz and glam and the neutered idea of titillation, at least from the outside. Judging by the cars in the parking lot, the Teslas, Lamborghinis, you see classic Chevys, you see box Chevys, the Impalas from the late 80s, you see 300s, enough 300s in this parking lot that you could probably start a dealership. And making your way in, it is just a club. The doorman looks you guys up and down, waves you in. Clearly you're on some sort of list. And you make your way into the back room, the VIP area, which has different security, more supernaturally aware security. They look you up and down, give you the once over. You can tell that they're peering more than just with their eyes, and they welcome you in. You guys are a little late, service is already in session, but come on and make yourselves at home, he says as he opens the door for you all and you move in. Mama Walde is actually on the raised stage area. There's no pulpit, there's nothing like that, but there's a feeling of non-secular enthusiasm. Nope, you're good. And as you all walk in, quietly moving yourselves to the side of the room, you see faces you have not seen in months. You see people of all strata of kindred society. Here, faces upturned and watching Mama Walde as they gesticulate and as they speak. You're clearly coming in on the last portion of their, for lack of a better word, sermon. Lilith wants us to burn ourselves away, to blacken the skins of our spirits as her own was burned in the desert between worlds, to fall and scrape our knees and comfort ourselves on our own blood welling from the wounds, to sup on the tears of our damnation, because in pain we learn, in suffering we grow stronger, in defiance we thrive like a plant pruned back by a gardener's hand. Lilith is the gardener, the cruel mother, the queen mother, the thorn on the rose of our survival. Without pain, she teaches us nothing else matters. Without a scream in the night, our voices are choked by the stillness of eternity. And that pain can only be salved by our salvation. That pain can only be eased by enjoying to the fullness of our being the moments that we are in. I know you all believe the same. I know you all understand that our mother, Urzuli, our queen mother here, has brought us all together so that we may all enjoy the blessings of our status as kindred, that we may all rise above the shackles and chains that have held us down and held us back through our lives, our deaths, and continue to do so because we refuse to rise above, because we refuse to embrace the pain. Pain is good. Pleasure is the other side of pain. We must go until we can go no longer. And that's what we're here for. Let's go! The crowd erupts. People cheer. And several hundred kindred voices raised, nearly loud enough to drown out the bass from the club. Several hundred kindred voices unifying, causing the room's wall to vibrate. Several hundred kindred, which shouldn't be possible. That's way, way over what should be possible to be supported by the city. At this point, with several hundred kindred just in this room alone, it means that the city should be overrun. There should be a plague. There should be, but there isn't. There's not so much as a whisper as to the overwhelming number of kindred. So what are you guys doing?
Well, I do have a ton of damage to heal, so I already healed my aggravated damage, but I still on 3 bashing. So I'm guessing that's 3 more rolls.
Yes, but each roll of to heal for bashing, you can do it whenever you take in blood, if you like. You can do it as often as you like.
I'm assuming that there's an opportunity to feed, so...
There definitely will be. There definitely will be. You guys have just come in at the end of the service portion of the evening for the disco. This is a special session, that much is clear, because people are dressed not just for club wear, but there are people who clearly came as they were from work or what have you. And through several glances into the crowd, and as the people are beginning to mingle, and the sacrifices, because that's kind of what it is, that's kind of what they are, the people who have given their blood, these blood dolls, these ghouls, these people who have come to be fed upon and are willing to give even that much more. Begin entering the room, some dressed like strippers, some dressed like streetwalkers, some dressed like businessmen and models, and some dressed like bankers, and some dressed like the guy who works at the gas station. And Simone, your heart, your unbeating, cold, dead heart drops out of your chest as you see the midget and the hairy-bodied gentleman from when you awoke in their apartment mid-orgy, having fed upon them all, making their way through the crowd, offering wrists, offering thighs, offering necks to be suckled and drained. You know you did this to them. You turned them out. You turned them into this. Because unlike some of the others, it's clear that they are frequent visitors, so much so that their bites haven't even been licked closed. They enjoy even that much more. And it's clear where their road is going to end, in the arms of someone that they've given and continue to give long past they have anything else left to give. Lucio, you've never been to that blood disco before, but even if you had, you would know that this is off the chain. These people are here to partake in giving every drop they can and enjoying that moment of bliss. Clyde, you've not been to a disco either. You've never seen people so willingly and willfully in violation of the masquerade donating blood so freely.
Yep, I'm gonna try to heal and feed so as not to get too hungry.
You all notice as Clyde is all but swallowed up by the crowd of sacrifices and the crowd of other kindred feeding and taking part in what's going on. The moment where the sacrament is taken. Hessia, Simone, you've all been to the disco before, usually during the party portion of the evening, rarely during the service, and it's clear that the service is a little more intense than others.
Before I lose too many of them wandering off, I whisper very lowly to both Lucio and Simone, because I know Clyde's gone and I'm not getting him back right yet. This is what I was talking about. You see just how many there are. There shouldn't be this many. Both Simone and I have been here before. This is way more than there ever was. And something's going on, and they came from somewhere. Do we recognize any faces? I'm asking both the storyteller and the others to see if
Simone clearly does. Simone clearly does. Lucio, you hate to admit it, but yeah, you kind of do. There's the second string quarterback from your high school who had a good job as a day trader across the room. There's one of the people that day worked for Amalia once and ended up working overnight. And Simone, you really try to avert your gaze from the midget and her clearly boyfriend, and in doing so, you recognize Sandra, who was a frequenter of the shelter before she gave herself over to the streets. Literally, she became a streetwalker and made so much money that she did not turn back. Hesher, you recognize Sandra as well, but more importantly, you recognize the current department head for biotechnology at the University of Illinois, where you formerly held your doctorate. Amongst the kindred, there are faces that you all didn't think would ever survive a winter in Chicago, let alone becoming kindred. There are all total 5 different former shelter members scattered throughout the kindred, not just the human sacrifices. They all left for better jobs, all left for better lives, yet here they are as kindred.
I note that, and it makes me both a little sad, but then it makes me more sure that that's where our missing are going. That people are taking them and embracing them, and then things are happening. Either they're being killed further as kindred, or they're doing this.
Lucio?
Yes.
Thoughts? You've never seen this much just bloodletting, this much sharing directly from the vein.
It's all very disturbing. And it's even worse because there's people that I knew or used to know who are partaking in this. And my thoughts turn to if all these people are being turned without knowledge or consent. It reminds me of the time that I was turned without knowledge or consent, all to cover up a crime of some kind. And I'm wondering if there's some sort of connection between what happened to me and what's happening to all these people.
Everything's connected and nothing is. Our human minds always seek to find patterns. The biggest pattern here seems to be an all-out give yourself over to any and every feeling you have in regards to achieving that nirvana, to finding that balance, to... Did they say something about Lilith? So everyone is scanning the crowd and trying to find, not be pulled in to their thoughts of the past or be pulled into the mob psychology of the moment, trying to desperately hold yourselves up and away. So Clyde, first things first, would you go ahead and roll your sorry, give me a quick second here. Roll your resolve and survival. And those who are trying to stay locked and not get swept up into the moment, either too maudlin or too joyous, go ahead and roll your resolve. And because you guys are already well aware, roll your resolve and etiquette.
I'm gonna burn a willpower for an extra die.
Okay. All right. Simone, go ahead and roll your resolve and etiquette when you get a chance. Okay, you're still on the phone call. All right, so 2, 2, 3. Without a shadow of a doubt, the crowd is electric. It is literally like mainlining pleasure. It is literally a fight for your very conscience, as people are aggressively offering themselves, and by aggressively, literally throwing themselves at you. There's so much sweet scenting flesh against your skin. There's so many touches and offers, and so many attempts to give of themselves. Part of your mind recoils because in the offer, in this moment, you remember part of what Portia told you all at Oasis and at TJ's. She's just hiding from the Bahari. Part of what she told you was that she was hiding from the cultivars. And that snaps you all enough into your cells that you witness as your beasts slowly crawl to the surface. And you know that it's only a matter of time before it takes hold and you take part of what's going on around you. Simone, you don't like this crowd. You've never liked the blood disco. You've always had your issues, but even still, you find yourself dancing slowly and sensuously with the young lady whose life you almost ended. Her and her partner are hand in hand with you. And as it's happening, you realize that you're being sucked back into that moment when you first tried visiting the blood disco. Your base impulses are taking over. You have one round to find a way to extricate yourself. Clyde, there's no party on earth that has ever matched up with just how wonderful this is. You have blood being offered to you as if it was candy. And even though you have no real feeling of hunger, your beast is there dancing arm in arm with you as first one, then the next, then another, and just little sips. And yet the blood is perfectly perfumed. It's almost as if someone reached into your subconscious and pulled out what you knew would be the most attractive offerings possible. It is literally the garden of earthly delights.
Yep.
And you see Simone sweating as if he's a addict. You see him flailing, reaching, but going under. It's like an addict who has been sat down at a table filled with all of their DLCs, their drugs of choice.
And if I see him in distress, I'm gonna approach him and ask him, is everything alright? Do you need to take a breather?
As you make your way over to Simone, Hestia, Lucio, I'm taking it you guys have stayed as close to each other as possible to try to stave off being sucked into the crowd.
Which I know is hard for me because being petite and small, being mobbed is probably moving me more than I'd like. The thing that's going to keep me upright and keep me close to Lucio is I'm looking for her suit. I'm keeping my focus. I'm looking for the person I came here for. I've already taken notice of everything around me, all the things that I needed to notice, and now I'm specifically looking for her, which is distracting me from all that's going on around me.
She's at your elbow. She's looking into the crowd just like you are. Who are we looking for?
I was looking for you. Don't sneak up on me like that. Oh.
Girl, you know I saw you come in. Mama Wilder was wild tonight. I tell you, there ain't nobody around that believes harder than that one there. Newberry's here too. I didn't invite him. I'm not sure how he knew, but he showed up.
Deep breath. I'm sure you remember Lucio, and I introduce Rosalie to Lucio again and give her a, kind of a head nod, like, stick close to him, keep your eye on him, type of like with the eyes. Should I go talk to Newberry?
I would, because I really don't want him to show up at the next thing. I didn't tell him about this. I don't know how he know. He just seemed to know all these things.
Who knows how he knows things, but please give me that little
Lucio Urzuli slips her arm in yours. Now you gonna escort me to my table? That's enough room for all of us.
As you wish.
As you and Urzuli make your way to the table, and Clyde and Simone begin to make their way toward the door because it's clear that he needs air, he needs something. Hestia, you get halfway across the floor and you can't see anyone. Everyone is, all the bodies moving back and forth. Every shadow seems to be filled with someone giving or taking blood of some sort. Everyone gathered, would you all do me a small favor? Roll your dexterity and athletics, please.
Me too.
Yes, sir. You and Simone are making your way towards the door, so you'll be closer.
Now that's disappointing.
Well, Simone is clearly under the influence too far to pretty much make a real roll right now. He's a little bit busy. So we're going to work off of Clyde's roll. So several things happen at once, as these things tend to do so. Gunfire erupts, and explosion goes off. You hear screams, and the people are knocked and shoved and jostled. And Clyde, you and Simone closest to the door, see the gentleman with a fall hawk with 4 other friends and associates on his arm, at his back, guns drawn, lobbing grenades into the crowd. Thank you all for a lovely Chronicle. I look forward to our next few episodes and seasons. This is officially the end of our second season. Thank you all for so much fun.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good night and see you next week.
Yes, thank you for the session. Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Wait, what? Grenades?